PSLE revision. So thank you for joining me, and I hope it will be a fruitful time for you as well. All right, so in today's session, we are continuing with our part 2 of 2021 not MCQ, 2021 open-ended questions, yeah, together with the part 2 of the TikTok for MCQ going through if you are joining me, okay? So yeah, so stay tuned. Okay, so last week we covered 2021, the first part, which is question 29 to question 34. So today we're going to cover the rest. And again, once again, so if you are empty-handed, please have a notebook with you to take down notes. Okay, so what is important here for this session, because we're not going to cover, we're not covering these papers in regular lessons because they are going to be covered by our school, right? But we want to go through some of the very important thinking processes, okay, that is in that requires us that we need to have when we're answering open-ended questions. Okay, so once again, the emphasis is not on the answers. We're not so interested on the answers, but we are interested in the thinking process behind the answers. Okay, all right. So okay, so just let's, without further ado, let's begin. We have quite a number of questions to go through. I think it will be a good time. Now we're going to finish in 45 minutes. So yeah, so this is just an introduction. Most all of you already know me. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so actually, I don't know, I always come across like some friends of mine, I mean, when they are teaching science, it's really a very difficult thing to teach science. It is very difficult because when I was looking through the PSLE questions, right, even for the 2022 paper, the 2021, whichever year, every year's paper, when I look through, there are questions that I don't know how to do. Even after so many years of marking PSLE questions, there are still questions that I am stumped, including last year's 2022 paper, right? There are questions that I would have gotten wrong. Right, I would not have got 100 marks. But I mean, very close. I mean, there's just a couple of or one mark question or 2 mark. So we will definitely still get AL1, but this that 1 or 2 marks that really that differentiates, right, the super good ones from the rest. So every year there are some questions that is just very, very surprising, and it's really not easy to know what they are really expecting. Okay, but what we can do is to try to write the best possible answers we can, all right, to get as many marks. Okay, so the thinking processes behind are important, yeah, not really answers. Okay, so let's, without further ado, let's go on to today's questions. So today's questions is on 35 to 40 of 2021 paper. 2021 paper, unfortunately, it is still within the COVID period, right? There are questions that is omitted from the adaptations, the questions that are omitted from like food chain, food web, all these things. Nonetheless, the other questions are also very important questions for us to focus on. Yeah. Okay. So let's start and look at question 35. Yeah? And as we go along, please actively participate. Do type your answers into the chat. Okay. Type your answers into the chat. Questions 35. No, let's see this thing. Let's see. Do I have this thing? Is frozen. Okay. Okay. Question 35. Let's go to the I think mine is this. Oopsie. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at question 35. Oh, okay. So along the way, do type in your answers into the chat. Okay. So for Choi, who wore a face mask in an air-conditioned room, oh, this is a hyphen, not equal sign. His spectacles became fogged as he breathed. Right. So this is what topic? You just type into the chat. What topic is this on? It's quite clear. It's quite a very clear topic. And just type in the chat. Yes, thank you. Right, it's water cycle, right? It's the water and state and 3 states. So it's water cycle, and it's testing us on the concept of what? What is it testing us on? Is it testing us on evaporation? Is it testing us on condensation? Or is it testing us on both evaporation and condensation? Or is it testing us on anyway? What else could it be testing us on? Yeah, it is testing us on condensation only, purely condensation. Yeah, condensation only. So we must know how to describe condensation. Okay, so how is this spectacles became formed is the condensation of water vapor into water droplets. Okay, so now let's take a look. So the question here, explain why his spectacles became formed. Right, 2 marks, 2 marks. Explain why the spectacles became formed. And this student wrote like this. Right, so a standard condensation question, right? So a water vapor, the water vapor from the surrounding air comes in contact with the cooler surface of the spectacles, loses heat, and condenses into water droplets. Right? Is this answer sounds pretty good, isn't it? Right? It sounds pretty good. Is it wrong? Is this answer wrong? Is this answer wrong? So let's just take a look. Is this answer correct or wrong? Is this answer partial or full mark? Is it gaining or lose heat? It's a loss of heat. Lose heat. Yeah, the condensation takes place when the water vapor loses heat and condenses into water droplets. Okay? What do you think? This answer, is it a full mark, partial mark? If you think it's a partial, why? Can you explain why is this a partial? What is missing? What is missing? Or if it's the zero, tell me what is wrong. If it's wrong answer, what is wrong? If it's partial, means that I need to add in some more points, right? If it's wrong, that means there's something in this statement that is wrong, and it will not deserve anything. Oh, thank you. You see, there is a face mask for a reason. Okay, for a face mask, that reason. So, okay, so that I did not mention anything about a face mask, right? Okay, so this question is Lucy. I did mention Lucy to where? I said Lucy to the. Oh, okay. I did not say Lucy to where, but in front I say in contact with the cooler surface of spectacles, so it is fine. If you want to say Lucy to the cooler surface of spectacles, you can put it at the back as well. All right. So in this case, how many marks would you give? Oh, 2 marks. 1 mark, 2 marks, 0 mark, -1 mark. Oh, that's come on, it's not possible. Okay, so yeah, so the answer here is this is a DNA answer. Okay, DNA, do not accept answer. All right, this is a 0. 0. Okay, why is this a 0? Now, why is this? Because the source of water vapor is wrong. Now, this person, okay, it is clearly stated that this is an air-conditioned room. Now, for water droplets, well, for water vapor to condense, it has to be warmer water vapor, but this is an air-conditioned room. Why would they mention air-conditioned room? Which means that the surrounding air is not warm, right? There is no warmer water vapor from the surrounding air. So it is no, the surrounding air doesn't have the warmer water vapor to condense. So the water vapor do not come from the surrounding air. Okay, so where does it come from? It comes from the it comes from the breath. It comes from the mouth. It's in the somebody say it's the mask. The face mask is not there for no reason, right? So let's take a look. How about this answer here? The face mask is not there for no reason. So we add in the face mask, okay? So the water vapor under the mask, the face mask, comes into contact with the cooler surface of spectacles, loses heat, and condenses into water droplets. Now, looking at this answer, how many marks would you award? How many marks would you award? 1 mark, half mark, or 0 mark? Now, so it is not the water vapor from the surrounding air. So some of you have rightly identified that the water, the mask is there, so it must be from something in there. So the water vapor under the mask. Again, this is a DNA answer. Yeah, it's a okay. In this case, I would think it's a partial. Why? The water vapor under the mask. Well, water vapor, the water vapor, we need to state the source of the water vapor. In this case, the mask is not the one giving out the water vapor, it's the breath. It's the breath. So it's the breath that has the more water vapor. So in this answer, there's no mention of the source of the water vapor, which is the breath. So the answer, this is also a DNA. Do not accept answer. Okay, so let's take a look. So the last one. Okay, so here comes the last one. So the breath comes into contact with the cooler surface of the spectacles, loses heat, and condenses into water droplets. Is this answer fine? How? Still wrong? So some of you say it's still wrong. Is this answer still wrong? Okay, why? If you think it's still wrong, what is wrong with this answer? If you think it's partial, what do we need to add in? Why is this? Yeah, you say it's still wrong. If you say it's still wrong, where's the mask? I did not mention the mask. Okay. Okay, again, this is a DNA answer. It's a do not accept answer. This one has to, is do not accept is because, remember, yes, thank you, Alvin, the water vapor is missing. There's no mention of water vapor. Now, if you talk about the breath alone, the breath is made out of many different kind of gases. It could be carbon dioxide. It could be nitrogen. I don't know what gas are you referring to. Condensation is only for water vapor to condense into water droplets. So there must be mention of water vapor. So the answer here, all right, is the so the answer here will be the water vapor from the mask, from the breath, okay, from the breath comes into contact with the cooler surface of the spectacles, lose heat, and condense into water droplets. This will be an acceptable one. Okay, you want to mention the mask also can, right? So, okay, so all this will be uploaded. All this will be uploaded onto the YouTube later. Okay, so the water vapor from the breath will come into contact with the cooler surface. All right, lose heat and condense the water droplets. So what is the key important point for this question? Okay, so the key important point for this question to note is when we are describing condensation, please take note that you must identify the source of water vapor. The source of water vapor must be there. Without the source of water vapor, all right, your answer will not be accepted. A lot of students write down water vapor, but no source. Second thing, so it is about describing condensation, right? I like to use this we think can learn concept well. So this is the acronym, right? We think can learn concept well, right? WSCLCW, right? What W stands for water vapor. You must mention water vapor. S stands for the source of the water vapor. Where is the water vapor from? Water vapor from the sea, water vapor from the cup, the cup of water vapor from the breath, water vapor from the surrounding air. You need to mention the source because water vapor is in the air and it's everywhere. So you need to mention specifically where is the source of water vapor. This one is where a lot of students will miss out. Okay, the C stands for comes into contact with cooler surface. L stands for lose heat and condense into water droplets. Okay, so although we know these things, but still a lot of students are missing out points. So in exams, please write down this WSCLCW, where we think can learn concept about and tick one at a time. Did I mention the water vapor? All right. Did I mention the water vapor? If you did, put a tick. If I mentioned the source, if you did not, then you know that, oh, I missed this out and you want to add it in. Okay. Then you check one by one. Did I mention the source? If you yes, tick. Did I mention come into contact with cooler surface? If you yes, tick. If I mention lose heat, if you did, yes, tick. So this is like a checklist. All right. Did you mention condense? Yes, tick. Did I mention water droplets? Yes, and tick. If you do not write down this, the high chance of you missing out certain point is pretty there. Okay, so write it down and check. This is called checking. All right, okay. All right, so this is the learning point for this question. Let's go on to question 36. Oh yeah, well, cat, let's try to read this thing. Yeah, so we can get a soft toy and name him Weesing, and Weesing is going to help you with the questions. Yeah, now with condensation. Now let's take a look at question 36. Question 36, let's read the question. Okay, for cars parked under the sun becomes hot quickly as heat enter the car and cannot escape easily. So Alex measured the temperature inside a car parked under the sun. He started timing immediately after the car was parked. His results are as shown. So you have this graph here, and part A state what is temperature. Now, stating what is temperature, this question just came out the year before, isn't it? It just came out the year before. What is temperature? And if you have learned that, then you will have gotten this full mark, right? But then, if you have not, then I'm so sorry, yeah, you're not. So what is temperature? Temperature, if we go back to the textbook, it is a measurement. It is a measurement of the degree of hotness. Yeah, the keyword here is a measurement. You can say it's a measure of the degree of hotness or whatever. So the keyword here is really a measurement. Okay, without the word measure, then it is wrong. Measure or measurement, both are fine. Okay, so that is a keyword. All right, the degree I will not say as important. Measurement is more important. Okay, all right. So the next one is the temperature. State the temperature of the surrounding. This is straightforward, right? Just looking at a graph, you identify at time 0, the temperature is 30. So the temperature is 30 degrees Celsius. This is a giveaway 1 mark. Oh, I did write down the marks. These are all 1 mark questions. Yeah. State the temperature given for time taken for the temperature to reach 40 degrees. Again, straightforward from the graph. You just take a look at 40 degrees. You have to know which one is 40. The 40 appears on the time, 40 appears in the temperature. We are looking for the temperature that is 40 degrees. So you just draw a line there at 40 degrees and you go down to the time. It shows 10 minutes. Okay, so the time taken for the temperature to reach 40 degrees is 10 minutes. So these are giveaway questions. So giveaway, give marks, yeah. So you just get it. So nothing difficult about this. Let's go to part D. So part D says Alex put a film over the car window to reduce the amount of sunlight coming into the car. A bubble was shown or seen as shown. So explain why the bubble became larger after some days. Now, why did the bubble become larger? Okay, so in this case, right, so we all know, okay, do you know what topic is this testing us on? What topic is this testing us on? What topic is this testing us on? Come on, type into the chat. What topic is this? Heat, right? Thank you. It's the topic of heat. Heat expansion, isn't it? Heat expansion. So this answer, so the answer will be, yeah, thank you. So the bubble gained heat from the sun and expanded. Okay, the bubble gained heat from the sun and expanded. So you must mention gain heat from the heat source and expand. So is this answer okay? Is this answer fine? Do you think this answer is partial? Full mark? Oh, I think this is a 1 mark question. This is a 1 mark question. Explain why the bubble become larger. I didn't even put a mark. This is a 1 mark question. So I think it's 1 mark. So is this answer okay? 1 mark? Partial or 0? DNA. I wouldn't say DNA. Why DNA? Why is this not why is this not acceptable? Or you just say DNA for fun? Anyone, what the rest? What do you think? How is this answer? Is it a fully acceptable answer? Is the air in the bubble? Do I need to mention air? Do I need to mention air? Is it necessary? Is it necessary to mention the air inside the bubble? Poor conductor of heat. Now, expansion has nothing to do with poor conductor of heat. Whether you're a good conductor or a poor conductor, whether you're air or metal, metal is a good conductor of heat, air is a poor conductor of heat, or wood is a poor conductor of heat. Whether you're good or poor, you will still expand. You gain heat and you will still expand. So it really doesn't matter on the conductivity of the heat. So in this case, what is important? Yes, is the air in the bubble. So in this case, the correct answer should be the air in the bubble. So why gain heat from the sun and expanded? And this will be a complete answer. So what is important here is when we are doing this question, we have to identify the key concept. All right, it's the air. So what is the key concept, the key takeaway for this question? The key concept here, they are trying to test us on, okay, the air, air is poor conductor of heat. Sorry. This is not, air is poor conductor of heat. This is one thing that we learned. But in this case, we are not testing, we're talking about expansion, right? Air. But the word air does not need to be indicated in the diagram. All right. Okay, so in this case, is about expansion, about air being able to expand. But this word air does not need to be in the question, right? It can be implied. So by just seeing that it's a bubble, we know there is air. Just like in one of the previous years, they talked about the polar bear. The polar bear, they say a polar bear can keep warm, and they show a picture of fur. There is no indications of air in the question, but it is implied, and we have to identify that there is air without them telling you that there is air. Okay, so air need not be indicated in the diagram, and we have to identify it. Okay, and it has to be mentioned, otherwise it's a 0 mark. Okay, so this air in the bubble gain heat and expand. All right, so in this case, the key concept is air can gain heat and expand. All right, okay, let's take a look at the question 37. So far, so good. Any questions, do type me in the chat, okay? Any questions, just type in the chat. Question 37. Energy. No, energy, sound. I think it's energy. Okay, so Terence drilled a small hole in the bottom of pail and hung it above the plate. He filled the pail with water and let the water drip down from the hole into the plate, as shown. And the sound sensor recorded the sound made by the water droplets. And the results are shown here. This graph, and it shows the sound level. Every 5 seconds or so, there's an increase in sound level. Why do you think there's an increase in the sound level? Well, because of the water droplets, right, hitting the plate. Okay, so state the number of water droplets that fell on the plate in the first 30 seconds. So we are focusing on the first 30 seconds. We are not focusing on more than that. So only on the first 30 seconds. This is the first 30 seconds. And the number of times where the sound increase is actually 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So again, I think this is a giveaway mark, right? Your answer is just 3. Straightforward. Okay, and suggest why the sound level is not 0 between 10 and 15 seconds, right? During this part, why is it not 0, even though there's no water dropping it? It is because of ambient sound, right? Surrounding sound. Sometimes even if there's nothing, there's always like the whirring of the fan, there's walking past of people on the pavement, there always there's some sounds around. There's always some sound, unless you're in an absolutely quiet environment. But then there's always like the aircon blowing. These are ambient sound. Little, but it's always there. Okay, so the sound from the surrounding, the ambient sound is there. Okay, so that's the logical answer. What is it testing us on? This is just testing us on logic. Okay, reasonable answer. Okay, so the next one here, part C, which is a little bit more interesting. Using the same apparatus, suggest 2 changes to increase the maximum sound level recorded by the sound sensor. So can you just type into the chat, what do you think are 2 changes we can make so that the sound can be increased? Time to the chat. Time to the chat. Time to the chat. You cannot find this question in booklet B, cannot be lah. This question 37. Am I wrong? Or did I choose the wrong answer? Yeah, you cannot find this question. It's question 37. Move the pail higher. Thank you. Any other possible answers? Move the sound sensor closer. All right. Go. Any other possible answers? Okay. Any other possible answers? So move the pail higher, move the sound sensor closer. These are all possible answers. Any other possible answers? How about this one? How about make use the pail with a bigger hole? Is it also possible answer? Yeah. So if you have you make a pail and you use a pail with a bigger hole, right? There's more water. Now, why is there more sound? More sound is because there's more kinetic energy, right? Of the water that hit the plate. And where the kinetic energy come from? From the GPE, isn't it? So there's more GPE. And GPE is affected by the mass as well as the height. So if you have a bigger hole with more water dropping down, there's more mass, more GPE converted to more KE, creating a larger sound. Is it possible? All right. So sadly, this is not accepted. Why? Exactly. Okay, so why is this answer not accepted? Use the pail with a bigger hole. Why is this answer not accepted? Why type into the chat? Why is this wrong? Why is this wrong? Thank you. Same apparatus. Don't change your apparatus. So you bring into you bring for example, you bring your phone to do some experiment, yeah, and You say, hey, don't do anything to my phone. Now just do an experiment, but don't do anything to my phone. And at the end of the hole, at the end of it, you find a hole in your handphone. And you have changed my phone. Right? So you have a phone, you added one more. You say, I give you a shirt for experiment. Don't do it, don't change my shirt. You come back with another hole in your shirt. So you changed my shirt has changed, right? So when you want to change the apparatus, we try not to do anything. Okay, so yeah. Fine, for trips. Is there a question?
Larger hole than you not be 400 shilling.
No. Okay, anyway, okay, so don't use don't change the apparatus, yeah. Okay, so yeah, so the answer here will be bring the sound sensor closer to the plate, all right, and increase the height of the pail. All right, so this will be the two answers that we want. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, next one, let's take a look at question number 38. Okay, so the learning point. What is the learning point for this question? Don't change the apparatus. Yeah, don't change the apparatus. They give you these apparatus, you do anything, but don't change them. Don't even damage them. All right, just leave it as it is. Don't even damage them. Don't change it. Okay, next one, question 38. I'm going to go a little bit faster. Okay, Kumar set up apparatus in diagram 1. When he closed the switch, the bar swung towards the point P. And he concluded the bar is a magnet. Right? Do you agree? Explain. Now, this one is not too difficult. All right. So we know it's magnets. Right. So no, because the bar is only attracted and not repelled. We want to look for repulsion. Okay. So if it's only repulsion, then we know that the bar is a magnet, right? Because like poles of magnet repel. Okay. So this is just the answer. Okay, go to part B. So when Kumar closes switch A, the carrot will drop into the hole. Explain why the carrot appears above the hole when Kumar opens switch A. Okay, so when you open switch A, it will drop into the hole. What causes it to drop into the hole? Okay. Okay, what causes it to drop into the hole? Okay, so when switch A is opened, okay, so explain why. So this is what is important here is when switch A is opened, there is a open circuit. Right, this open circuit is important. Okay, all right, this open circuit is just important. When there is, I think it's a standard sequence that you have to know. When there's open circuit, electrical current can flow through. Now this part here is crucial. This is a keyword here. Okay, the electrical current can flow through. To me, this is just explanation of what an open circuit is. Many teachers want it, but I don't think it's super critical in PSLE. Right, open circuit and electrical current can flow through. These are the same thing, but it's always a good idea to explain the meaning of open circuit by saying electrical current will not flow through. All right, then the next point here will be metal cylinder will not become an electromagnet, and it's therefore my lines are so super thick. Let me make it thinner. Okay, so open circuit, right? Electrical current will not flow through. Explain the meaning of open circuit, therefore will not become an electromagnet and is unable to attract. So this is only the first part. Right? Do you notice that there's also a spring, and therefore you have to go in the second part, and therefore the spring will therefore push the carrot up the hole. And the spring, the function, the purpose of the spring is important. Okay, the purpose of the spring is important. So learning points for this question. Okay, oops. Learning point for this question, I didn't write it down. Is we really have to focus on all the labels. Yeah. So if you just mention all these, some of you did not mention the spring, okay, then I don't think it is not a complete answer. Okay. All right. Next one. So they say suggest 2 ways to make a carrot drop into the hole faster. Okay. So to make the carrot drop into the hole faster, you need to let it be attracted with greater force towards the magnet, the electromagnet. How do you let it be attracted towards the electromagnet faster? Right, number one. Okay, so this person say, oh, use a spring that is less stiff. Is this okay? Well, this if a spring is less stiff, it's easier to be attracted. Is this fine? Okay, this is a DNA answer. Why? Why is this DNA? Why can't I use a spring that is less stiff? Wouldn't it help it? There's less force to push it out. Wouldn't it be easier to put it down? You know why this is wrong? Come on, let time to check why is this wrong. What happens if you use a spring that's less stiff? Will you still push the apple, the carrot to the same point? Right? Will you still push it? It won't, right? So they want it to be appear above the hole. If I use a spring that is less stiff, okay, less stiff, then it will not be above the hole already. So you cannot change the spring. All right. So number one, you cannot change the spring. So number two, decrease the distance between iron rod and the metal cylinder. Is this answer fine? What do you think? How many marks would you give this one? Decrease the distance between iron rod and the metal cylinder. Is this possible? Because the closer the magnet is to the object, the greater the magnetic force. Right? So you can pull it down with greater force. Is this answer okay? What do you think? How many marks would you award? There's two varieties. Would you award 1 mark? Or 0 mark? Cannot be 2 lah. This point is only 1 mark. We need 2 points, and this is only one way. You give 100 marks, is it? Okay, so this is actually also not accepted. Why? How are you going to decrease the distance? How are you going to decrease? What are you going to move? How are you going to move? Are you going to move the nail? Are you going to move the iron rod? Are you going to move the cylinder? Right? You need to explain how, right? So it's okay. I know. I must explain which one, right? So I say, okay, let me move, right? Let me move the iron rod closer. So if I move the iron rod, move the iron rod closer, is this accepted? Is it okay now? Again, this is a DNA answer. Why is this wrong? Move the iron rod closer. Who can tell me why is this answer wrong? Move the rod closer to the metal cylinder. Why is this wrong? Because of this very important word. Are you typing in the chat? Why is this wrong? Anyone knows why this is wrong? Nobody? Are you there? Are you asleep? Good morning. Right, so this is wrong because this one. Okay, the spring is fixed to the carrot rod, right? And also if the spring is fixed, the iron rod is fixed. They cannot be moved. You are moving something that is really fixed to the board. So because it cannot be moved, you say move the iron rod closer to the metal cylinder, it is a 0. You cannot move. So what can we do? Instead of moving the iron rod, we should move the metal cylinder. So either you increase the number of batteries, increase the number of coils, or you can move the metal cylinder closer to the iron rod. Okay, these are the 3 possible answers. You choose 2. Okay, choose 2. Okay, if you want to move the electromagnet closer, you can move it closer, but bearing in mind you can only move the magnet and not the iron rod. Okay, so learning point for this question: highlight important question, information. And you notice that when you're highlighting the question, you must highlight from the question stem and the diagram, the labels, and as well the question itself. All these are very important things that we must highlight and make sure that we register all this information in your mind when we are answering the questions. Okay? Okay, let's go on to the next one. Oh, I'm very behind time. Yeah, we're very behind time. Question 39, 2 more questions to go. Kelly has a coin bank. Describe one way to find the volume inside the coin bank. Okay, this is a straightforward question. All right, so describe. What's the describe? Describe means sequential. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Describe. Okay, from step 1 all the way to the last step. So the step 1, okay, you fill the coin with water. Okay, step 2, pour out the water. Step 3, use a measuring cylinder to measure the volume of water. So sequentially, what are the steps? Okay, I know if you have not done this, I'm not giving you the chance to think. Okay, you can just, there's no other way. All right, there's no other way to find out. See, so describing means in sequential. Why so troublesome? No choice. It means the step 1, step 2, step 3. Okay. So if they tell you the volume inside the coin bank is 200 cubic centimeter, explain why you can't put all the 200 coins inside the coin bank. One coin has 1 cubic centimeter. Did I mention that? One coin has, did I mention that earlier? I'm not too sure. Oh, I think I missed out. Okay, so one coin is 1 cubic centimeter. Why can't I put 200 coins into the coin? The coins are in circles. So if the coins are in cube shape, it's fine. Air occupies space, so all of the 200 coins can be put in. Okay, so the two things here, number one, there are the coins have a definite shape. This is a solid has a definite shape. So you put it in, because it has a definite shape, there's going to have air spaces, air gaps between the coins. Okay, so two reasons here. Number one is a definite shape. Number two, air spaces between the coins. Okay, Ken? So this is important, huh? Yeah, so these are 2 points here that we want to take note of. Okay, the coins cannot be compressed. No, as long as I think it's the definite shape that's more important. Yeah, it's not the compression, because water cannot be compressed as well, right? But water, you can use water to measure the volume, but you can't use coin. Okay, you can't use coin. Both cannot be compressed. You see? Okay, so it's the shape and not the compression. Last question of the day, question 40. Let's go. Okay, so question 40, semi-compress a spring to launch a toy rocket in a room. There was no wind, and he launched the rocket, all right, to hit the floor, and he measured the distance moved by the rocket. All right, state the relationship between the compression of spring and the distance moved by the rocket. Okay, this is straightforward, right? In the relationship, you begin with S. As the compression of spring increases, the distance moved by the rockets increases as well. So this is a very straightforward, which is quite rare, because many times the relationship they are asking is like two-part relationship, right? The first part increase, after that decrease, or the first part increase, then remain the same. There's usually like 2 parts in the relationship, but in this case, it's a simple one mark given. All right. Okay, so as increasing, the distance increase. Part B. Name forces acting on the rocket as it's moving up the ramp and not touching the spring. So bear in mind, it's a plural. It's forces. Now you put a bracket S there. The moment they put a bracket S there, we have to be paying attention. It is a plural form. We have to focus on more than one. Is there more than one? Right? That means there's a possibility of more than one. So we have to think, is there more than one? Okay, there is gravitational force and frictional force. Frictional force is with the air, right? Oh no, sorry, not with the air, it's with the ramp, Okay, so you cannot say elastic spring force because it's not touching the spring. All right, forces. Take note of the S. And the next one is also the S. Main forms of energy, they are looking at more than one form. So is there a possibility of more than one form at H? Again, there is, right? Kinetic energy as well as GPE, potential energy. You don't have to mention potential, gravitational, but you still need to have a potential. All right, so again, bear in mind, S, plural form of the word. You have to pay attention to that. Okay? So take note for this question. What is important is pay attention to plural forms. When they say they say main forms, say the forces, the S, we have to take note of it. Okay? Can? All right. So I think to part D, the last one. He decided to repeat the experiment on the sandpit. How does this help him obtain more accurate results? This is the last one. And I thought this is important to take note of the word accurate. Accurate. Now, so what is this answer? The answer is to make a depression in the sand. Now, when you throw, if you just throw on the floor, you just bounce away, and it's very difficult to see, hey, where did you stop just now? You need to have a video replay to go and track it, right? Otherwise, the moment you just drop on the sand, it bounces off, it slides off. It's very difficult to see where it actually stopped. So you see, because they show that it bounces off, right? So it's difficult to measure. So by making a depression in the sand, it doesn't bounce, or even if it bounces, it will have already made a mark, all right, so that you can see. So what is important here is this word called accurate. Now, what is the meaning of accurate? Accurate is not reliable. Reliability means that you can repeat the experiment a few more times. Accuracy is about being able to take more accurate result, either by, for example, using a thermometer instead of using your hand, all right? Using a measuring a weighing scale rather than just using a lever balance if your units are there. Okay, so using more accurate instruments to measure is about accuracy or about keeping all the constant variables really, really constant. For example, you're going to use the same rocket all the time so that the mass will always be the same. So this is also making the results more accurate. Reliability is about repeating. Now, the more time you repeat, the more reliable your experiment will be. But just because you repeat doesn't make it accurate. Right? Repeating doesn't make it accurate. So these are two different things about it. Yeah, for example, you say, oh, I'm going to measure the temperature. I measure 100 times already. Yeah. The temperature is about 30 degrees. But if you use 100 times, you're using your hand to measure the temperature 100 times. You're doing it wrong 100 times, right? So it doesn't make it accurate. All right, so it's about the instrument and how you conduct experiment. Okay, all right, this is our Facebook, right? Our Facebook. If you are joining us for MCQ, all right, do join to TikTok Live. Okay, TikTok Live will go to Edify SG. Edify SG will be going through the MCQ from question 15 to question 28 of 2021 paper. Okay, so thank you everybody for joining for today. I hope you have learned something. I hope all these points have been useful for you. I'll see you at TikTok Live. Okay, good night, everybody. Have a good evening and see you soon. Okay, bye-bye.